Hello everybody, welcome to another Mandela video. I've done a few before, and this particular one is concerning how to spot particularly with America, how to spot a pre-Mandela map and between the maps we see today. Some of you may think it's pretty straightforward, and in most cases it probably is. But if you're not, if you want some, I've come up with 3 points. Maybe I hope you'll find them useful. If not, you can. I mean, maybe if you've studied the subject yourself, there's something you could think I can add, or I don't know, any idea. So first off. I'm not really doing the whole globe. I'm only doing America. One of the reasons for this is because there's a lot of, with Hollywood movies and, being in the Western world, America is, whether you love America or hate America, it's, you can't really avoid the place. There is talk concerning the Mandela effect, that Iceland has moved, that New Zealand's not where it should be. But those maps trying to prove that they're harder to come by, whereas there's a lot more, with movies and everything, there's just a lot more on America. And personally, concerning geography, I'm just more familiar with America, where, to be honest, so yeah, there may be some differences there. If you pick them up and you want to send a note to me, I can look at them. I don't know if I'll add it to this or not. I'm not sure. But anyway, for the moment, it's just America, because most of you will know with the Mandela effect, it concerns South America primary, that in the pre-Mandela map, it's as you see it before you, and in the modern day map, which I'll bring into you as we see it, there's a good bit of difference. America has used to be proper South America, down there, just slightly to the right, if you like, whereas in today's maps, I can make this bigger. In today's maps, it's really, I mean, it's more like Southeast America. But anyway, let's make that smaller again and get back to. I can leave that there for the moment. So. Okay, now point number 1, you'll probably think is the most obvious. So I've got 3 points, but point number 1 is probably the most obvious. You'll probably go like, duh, of course, but, and that is obviously, if you get a nice view, like so with, so these maps are on the side, obviously, north, south, and this one pretty much is as well. If you get these nice views, then yeah, you can, just by visually looking at it, you can see that this one is I want to change that again, there we go, that's better, is more to the right compared with this one. And that's nice. So why do I make it point number 1? Well, when you're looking through various sorts of maps, you don't always have this convenience. Sometimes the globe is around the side. And in actual fact, that's one of the maps. I've seen one in a Hollow Earth video. Whether you believe on that or Hollow Earth or not is not the point. But I will show that as a kind of demonstration towards the end to apply these 3 points. So yeah, this is all very convenient when it's like that. But sometimes the globe is halfway round, or it's at an angle. So the reason why the other 2 points are useful is because it's like, so if you can get all 3 points, then that's great. I mean, to me, two out of three is pretty good as well. But so these are the indications to show a pre-Mandela map and one that's of modern day. I should probably go into some terms as well, in the sense that so this one here I consider a pre-Mandela map, and this is just a modern day map. So I mean, that's a term I go for. It's I don't know, it just came out that way, and that's what I go with. But another way you could term it is to say that, because to me this one come first, so you could say this is Mark 1 and Mark 2. So whatever references you want to use. Okay, so that's point 1, which may be one of the most obvious. But okay, so point 2, how to tell a visual difference if you, because I mean, obviously if it's like this, then it's pretty good. And I'll just quickly explain that this image here, you might have seen it on my previous video, is a Joe 91. This one's quite good. It might be a bit pixelated because I've blown it up. It comes from a you probably can't see it. It's got WIN at the top, which is World Intelligence Network from Joe 90, and so I just use that one. It's not my usual one actually, but I like it. However, so getting on to point number 2, one of the major ways we can tell between pre and modern day is if we take Florida. Now on this one, I've got to say it looks like it goes down and to the right, but that's because this is an enamel badge. So in actual fact, there is a bit of a gap there where Florida looks like it's joining up to Cuba, which of course it doesn't in real life. But I'm just saying that to explain why it looks like it's going to the right a bit. It sort of stops there. So anyway, if we use Florida as a guide of going down, so if we take the latitude line going straight down, you'll see that on this it cuts through on the South America. Actually, on most Mandela maps, it's probably slightly bit further that way. It comes down here, but I think it's because it's an enamel badge. Now, if we go to the modern day map and we take Florida using the latitude line going down again, so here we go. So that's that one. You can see that. Now we go over to the modern day map and we go there. And as you can see, it's cutting into Ecuador. So that's point number 2. That's another reference. So in one map, it's in the pre-Mandela map, it cuts through South America, and in the other, in our modern day map, it barely, well, yeah, it's just about cuts through Ecuador. So that's a major difference. Yeah, if I'd used a different pre-Mandela map, I think it would have been. It's a bit closer on this one, but anyway. So that's a point number 2. Number 3. Sorry, it's got. Number 3 is the what I call the land bridge. So, you know, Mexico and all these other little countries joining up to Colombia. Now, if we, I think I'll make this one bigger again to show the point. Okay, so hopefully you can see Colombia bigger. And on this one, if we take Colombia as a country rather than the whole continent, you'll see it's pretty much in the middle. So the land bridge, it kind of winds its way round, coming in on the side. Now, when we go back to the pre-Mandela one, what you'll find is, I'll stick with this one at the moment because it's bigger, is it tends to join at the top here. I used to think in the past, some years ago, that it sort of joined up to Venezuela, and it is pretty close. But I think, I mean, I could change my mind on that later, but at the moment, I'd say on pre-Mandela maps, it just about hits the north side of Colombia. As I say, I may change my opinion on that later, but so that's the third point. That's another major difference when we're looking at Mandela maps and non-Mandela maps. Is that as on this modern day map, as you can see, it joins from the west side, and on a pre-Mandela map, it's more at the top of the north. So if I take this, if I remove this again. So you see there. So yeah, with the modern day map again, it should be coming in on the side. But if you've seen most of the other pre-Mandela maps I've shown, it hits the South American side from the top, as it does this one. So okay. That's the 3 points I have to show show differently. So what I'm hoping is it's a nice quick guide to, because as I say, if it's like this, then it's pretty easy. But sometimes when you're going through shows, you're looking for quick guides, and you don't always get a clear view. So that's why I'm hoping the other two points will come in handy. If you can get all three, well then, I'd like to think that that's some sort of conclusion to the fact that it's a pre-Mandela or not. I probably also should mention on point number one that on the fact that America's to the right is that on our modern day maps, it's not just to the right; it's actually pushed up a bit. So that's a kind of sub point, if you like, but. I didn't want to really push that one too much, because basically, if you can see it's to the right, then or rather, if you want to go back to the pre-Mandela one, if you see it's further down, then that's part of the point anyway. So it's you can throw that in there if you want. So there you go. Now, what I did find, I was watching a documentary on Hollow Earth. I don't know if I believe personally. You may think because I'm doing this that I believe in every theory going. I don't know if I believe in the Hollow Earth. I'd like to believe in it. It'd be a cool idea. Then again, £1 million in my bank would be a cool idea. But last time I checked my bank balance, it wasn't quite the case. So yeah, now whether you believe in a hollow earth is not is not the point at the moment. I'm going to show you an example of a pre-Mandela map I saw in the video. It was quite a good documentary, actually. I would recommend it. It's called Hollow Earth Theory by Net News, or I'm not sure how you pronounce it. It might be Net Nice. I'm not sure. But anyway, it was a very good documentary. I think there's two parts to come whenever they come out. But I would I've seen a few documentaries on Hollow Earth, and it's quite good, quite entertaining. Although whether you want to, there's still no absolute proof one way or the other, so it's still up to you whether you believe or not. Anyway, I'll take that away. So, I thought it was a good example because we can now use this as an example. So take them away, and let's get this. Okay, there's two images here. This is the first image, but this is not the one I'm really trying to prove a point on. I'm going to let it play for a bit. The reason being so as to get rid of this the play line at the bottom, and then I'll stop it. So if you want to freeze frame it yourself, then you can. So it goes from this map into another map. This image here, I suspect it probably is a pre-Mandela one. If you want to get really sort of technical about it, you could probably find out by because as I said with the modern maps, the South America's pushed up a bit, so you could probably use the latitude and longitude lines to try and figure it out. But it's pointless because even on my 3 points things, there's only half the Earth there. So if you want to do that, knock yourself out. But obviously we can't prove very little from that. Well, I do think it was cute on this one. Is you got these 4 ships. It's just cute. Anyway, I'll let it play for it won't be for very long. Just until it changes. It morphs into the image I want to go through. So okay, is it playing? I put the sound down, so yeah, I think it's moving. Here we go. That's a bit longer than I thought. There we go. Okay. Oh, and that's exactly what I didn't want to do, because now I've got the red line. There we go. Why do I do that? There we go. I'll stop it there. Okay, so yeah, so as I said, this is from the documentary about Hollow Earth. Interesting thing to note on most of the pre-Mandela stuff is that, yes, I will admit that most of the images are created. That is to say, they're either on models or, so like someone's got a copy of map for a show. So the easy answer there was well, maybe they got them wrong. But that just draws up another point. It's sort of like, so these films that are made from many different years of decades ago, and from different, in Britain, America. So if they're getting them wrong, why are they all getting them wrong in the same way? So yeah, I mean, that's a point you can bring up, but I mean, I personally believe it's part of the Mandela effect that somehow that they evaded the change somehow. But again, whether you believe in the Mandela or not, so this can still be, even if you think it's like fake baloney and all that. I hope that this still can be useful to you, because even if you think they're fakes of some sort, then at least you can say, well, that's the difference between a fake and so when you look at them and make comparisons. Now, on this particular, it's Hollow Earth, so so that's even another bigger conspiracy type thing. So you might think that, well, being Hollow Earth, this is a fake anyway. And it could be. I've no idea. But we're going to go on the assumption that it's real for the moment, just for the sake of it. And if you're going to believe it's real, you've also got to make a decision now is that because obviously, you know, this isn't a proper map, a globe map in the way that you know, the one I showed you earlier. However, what you need to make a conclusion on is whoever made it, and we don't know who the author of it is, whoever made it was trying to make a good representation of at least what he believed the Earth to look like. Or, it could be a she, but it was probably he. So he was doing his best to get it right. Now, I believe on this image that it is a pre-Mandela map, and we're going to put those principles that I discussed earlier into effect to see if you think they work or not. Now, and this is a good example in the sense that South America is just about in the picture. Now, okay, so point number one, looking at it now. Well, there's always someone who's you know, I mean, I don't want to force it on you, but I think it looks pretty much in the middle. So let's get my other map back. This one. So in comparison, so this is coming. So you see, as you see, I'm probably going into the other point a bit at the moment. So this is coming at the side. That's coming down the middle. So you know, so this should be more over to the right. But let's assume you don't agree with that point. So now we can bring in point 2 and 3. We can go to Florida. I'm gonna move that there. And okay, so on our pre-Mandela map, it's Florida is going through the middle. Now you could say, well, why don't I do the line that way, Florida to the edge there, to make it come in comparison with that one. Well, if you do that, you're getting more of a diagonal line across the Earth, which is more like, you know, if the Earth was wearing a hat, it'd be cocked a little bit. So that wouldn't work. But to prove it even more, if I do that, then it cuts across this ridge. This, I don't know if you call that a peninsula or what, but it cuts across that, which means that that's Mexico. You might say, well, okay, it's Mexico. I don't have a problem with that. Well, okay, if we go to the modern day map, we do Florida to Ecuador. As you can see, Mexico is over here, and it finishes there. So that, I hope, proves that our Mandela map. See if it cuts through there. That can't be this map. It cannot be, because it wouldn't cut through. If you do Florida to Ecuador as you would do on this map, it just wouldn't work. So I mean, yeah, you can do Florida to Ecuador, but the line is more diagonal, and it would cut through Mexico. If you go to a modern day map, Mexico ends around there, and it's not going to work. Not if you're using proper latitude lines, and you know. So I hope that demonstrates that point. Yeah, point number 3 again is I kind of accidentally went there anyway. Is that yes, the if we see on this one, it's coming through the middle of Colombia. There, this red line's not helping much, but here it's pretty more on the top. I would hope you would agree that in comparison with this one, it should probably be about there. You may not agree, but this is closer to the top. So yeah. So that's a demonstration of the 3 points that I would like to submit for your approval, to identifying pre-Mandela maps and modern day maps. I think that's covered most points. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you can think of something else that might be useful to well, I mean, one of the problems is the sources they're from, because obviously, a lot of the times, I mean this one's quite nice as an example, because you can blow it up, but sometimes you're just looking at like as in some of the previous videos I did, where it's just a small globe in the background somewhere. I kind of wish that a lot more were like this. Anyway, I hope that proved useful to you. You may have better ideas how to do it. I'd like to hear them. Otherwise, thanks very much for listening, and in Christ Jesus, I hope you're blessed. Goodbye for now.